Go get him. Go get him. Go get the all carbon fiber 240Z. All right, so we out here. We are out here again for another episode of Daily Transmissions. Got the boy Lil Clutch Kick.
What's up, guys?
And the man, the myth, the legend, Chair Slayer. And of course, Don, King of all the nerds, Pierre.
This is a squad right here.
Yeah, we're rolling pretty deep. I don't even think the Avengers is a better squad than this. And just so you know,
It's really cool. Spoiler alert. Stop.
No spoiler. This is the only spoiler we need to talk about right here.
Woo.
240Z. Z.
240Z, all the way from Orlando, Florida. What's going on, fellas? How you doing? Introduce yourselves to the camera.
I'm Shawn Basset, and this is my little
Rich.
Z.
This is your Lil Z?
Yeah.
What was your name?
Rich said.
Rich?
Yep.
I'm gonna call it.
Mustache.
I'm here to help.
Mustache support. Honestly, I know this is the star, but god damn. People just talk about the stash all the time.
It's okay.
It's like there's a man behind the stash.
My eyes are up here.
Sean, I can't believe this came out of Orlando, Florida. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right?
This is amazing. I was admiring it when you brought it in for Build Biology.
Yep.
And now I'm admiring it here in the light. Whew. Tell us about it.
About 4 years ago tomorrow, I bought a 72 240Z with not these aspirations, just a little track car, and yeah, one thing led to another, and here we are today.
So 4 years with this car.
Yeah.
And it looks like this?
Yeah.
I've been with my car for 7 years and it doesn't look anything like. So what's the main purpose of this thing? I mean, I'm gonna guess.
I built the car originally for like a track day car, and then it kind of spiraled. I wanted to build a Pikes Peak car, so we're gonna do some global time attack in between races. The purpose is to race Pikes Peak with the car.
How long has this car been finished?
We debuted at SEMA, and I was that dude that didn't have a running car at SEMA.
We all were.
Dude, that was,
That's right.
Yeah.
it's been on the track for about 2 months, so we're gonna do a debut race next weekend at Global Time Attack Road Atlanta.
You said your debut race?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so first time on track.
No, it's first time at a race. So we've done some track days with it. I've
see.
got some experience at Road Atlanta, so I'm curious to see what it is on 4 wheels instead of 2.
Let's just look at this thing. Downforce for days, huh? I'm surprised this isn't carbon too.
Yeah, not yet. There's a reason why it's all like boogered up, because it's like it hits everything.
I see.
You made all the carbon panels
Yep,
yourself.
Yeah.
That's just. I'm always impressed with carbon work because it's so beautiful if it's done right. This is beautiful.
And people don't really make kits for these cars,
No,
right?
not at all.
So
I mean, there's some kits, but not. I mean, I've got S14 based suspension. That's the difference between a 240Z and a 240SX.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I wanted that like Japanese touring car,
Yeah.
time attack look, and I owned my own carbon fiber business, so I never was able to do like the things I wanted to do. Now that I don't do that anymore, I was able to kind of flex all my skills. And
Yeah, skills is an understatement, man.
It's just something that anybody can learn. I mean, I did this entire car out of my 700 square foot like barn.
Your process on. Let's take this front fender for instance. Did you lay it up with foam and clay and then go over top of it?
I mean,
How did you get this shape? Because this obviously is not the shape of the fender from here straight back.
The grueling part about like carbon fiber is you've got to make something that doesn't exist. So
Yeah.
I took a metal fender and I welded a bunch of sheet metal to it and got the general shape, and then I body worked it with body filler and basically got it ready to paint, only to make a fiberglass mold off of it. It's a ton of work to do it.
Dude, I love all the little lips on them and everything like that.
Yeah. And
Is
everything that
this
you've done-
intentional right here?
Yeah.
Just to like kind of drag a little
That
more
kinda
air or
helps
something?
with-
It goes over the mirror.
Yeah.
I just did a lot of research trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work with certain cars. I talked to some time attack guys, and this is kind of the recipe I came up with. This is like the first version of the aero of the car. And once we work some stuff out, we'll figure out what works and doesn't work. And
Let's talk about this motor, huh? Obviously, it's LS based motor.
yeah, imagine that, right? It's a L33. It's just a junkyard motor. Got it for $300.
Yeah, man.
And
It's the way to go.
I got it from a guy that I worked with. I didn't really know much about it. Come to find out, it's an all aluminum L33, so that was higher compression
That was
motor.
a good little come up because
Yeah.
for $300, you don't find them for that cheap
Right.
that often.
The rotating assembly is stock. It's got a CTS-V, accessory drive, turn 1 power steering pump. Heads are poured and polished. Big Brian Tooley stage 3 cam in it. All the bolt-ons. Makes about 370.
Okay.
You didn't do anything to the bottom end.
How much does the car weigh?
2550 wet.
Nice. All
So
right.
370 horsepower is, in the world we live in, especially with LS motors, that's not a lot. But there's not a lot of 2,500 pound cars.
Right,
So this
exactly.
thing, it's scary to drive.
Yeah.
I mean,
370 with a V8. It's a good power ratio.
Especially with probably how light this thing is in the back. Once you get it under some load and some downforce on it, I bet you this thing just feels.
Coming out of turns onto straights, it spins the tires, but the second we get some aero going, it hooks up really good.
What about all the suspension work? So you said you got an S14 base, pretty much.
It's a hodgepodge. There's nothing factory, so I've got factory cross member, brace, all this other stuff's been cut off of it, just bare essentials of what needs to be there.
Right.
I've got factory arms that are boxed and heimed. All the arms on the car are SPL parts. Our buddies over at BC Racing,
Oh, yeah.
ZR coilovers. Not anything super special. We valved them for the car, but other than that, this is an off-the-shelf coilover for
Right.
S13.
Oh, are these BC Ford's wheels too?
Yeah.
That's a nice glimmer on that orange.
Orange is my style.
Yeah?
Man. That's my thing. So.
Yeah. Oh, I like that side exhaust too.
Yeah.
That looks nice.
Yeah, so 18 by 10 and a half front, and then 18 by 11 rears.
10 and a half up front.
Yeah, so we're running a 295 Toyo RR up front and a 315 RR in the rear.
With 370 horsepower and a 2,500 pound car.
Yeah.
This is a go-kart.
Yeah, it is.
It's like it's an ultimate go-kart.
So what about your brake system? So you got the Willwoods up front?
Yeah, running Willwood setup now. That was one of like the first things that I purchased.
Don, you're breathing in the camera.
He's
Come on,
stoked.
yeah.
He's stoked. Yeah, so that was like the first thing, the like off-the-shelf kit that I bought for the car.
Is that their 240 kit?
Yep, that's their big brake kit.
Are the rears over here that like a stock Z32 caliber?
In the rear, I'm running the Z32 aluminum knuckles that have been shaved. They're running full spherical bearings in them. I'm running Aftermarket Industries FC 1200 Bosch fuel pump. That thing's been trouble-free. It's internal.
You make your own diffuser and everything too. I'm assuming all of it.
Yep.
Is this an off-the-shelf wing or did you make it?
I made the wing.
Jeez, man.
Totally.
I'm gonna hit you up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is an expensive car, but it's much more doable when you're doing it yourself.
Right.
That being said, it takes 4 years to do it.
Yeah, and obviously all the time you took to start your carbon fiber business and learn the ropes of it. So it's not just a walk in the park. You definitely got to put in the work. Let's look inside of it, actually. Oh, goodness gracious.
So I took the factory dash, kind of slimmed it up and made it fit, but I still wanted to keep the look of the 240 dash.
Right.
My OBP pedal box is probably like one of the highlights of the car. That's a beautiful piece on the car.
This thing is dialed. You ever think about just changing the setup a little bit and going drifting?
Dude, it's got some angle to it.
Yeah.
And I did have a handbrake in it for climb starts, but
Tell us about the shifter there.
so I've got a T50 built T56 transmission. It's got all the Viper parts in it, but it's S1 sequential shifter. It basically replaces the factory shifter and changes the H pattern to a sequential pattern. Coming from motorcycle racing, that's normal to use the clutch with a sequential pattern.
Right. I just also want to point out that your cage cover.
I can't take credit for that. The
No.
mirrors and the cage cover, I can't take credit for that, but everything else.
Well, it's still cool.
The wiring in here is very, very clean.
That's one thing I didn't do. I called my good buddy Jesse over at Level 7 Performance. Kind of befriended him on Instagram. He flew down, wired the car, and got.
If I was a wiring guy, I definitely would want to get my hands on something this clean.
Absolutely.
'Cause,
Yeah, I'm running a PDM in the car. So
one?
race pack.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Smart wire.
Yep.
All these little quick latch
Yep.
buttons.
The whole thing comes off and
Take the whole thing apart in 5-10 minutes.
So what did your mustache build on this bad boy?
He's not a heavy lifter.
Yeah?
Yeah, hey, come over, live at my house for 5 days and pick stuff up. Put a motor together for me.
Yeah, he put the motor together.
Basically what
So
we're
if
all...
it pops today.
Yeah, put that on me, I guess. But
Hey, it's okay. You win just by mustache default. So,
Yeah.
I just want to stress the details. If you look at every
They all
piece
match.
this man put on here, he got the brake air-cooled ducts going to the big Willwoods in the front. This is beautiful.
Function.
Straight business.
Function.
I gotta
it
see
looks
this
cool
thing
too.
lit, man.
The way to build a proper race car is you got to win in the shop first, right? I'm gonna learn that someday.
Yeah, well, I guess let's do some business.
All right, let's do it.
You guys about to see some serious driving skills from a road race guy.
Hey, listen, all we want to see is you burn these tires down. However you want to do it is up to you. All right, let's hear this thing sing. Oh man, this thing is rowdy. That thing sounds good. Man blew my ears out.
Yeah.
I think he blew my ears out. Woo. I came over here to give him a fist pound and forgot this was right there.
You guys want to do more?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, topped off the fuel, ready to party.
Yeah, hopefully.
Just give her one more go. Yeah, you guys are dying in there. Oh man. Hey, you lit her up.
Oh, yeah, dude. I tried. I did the best a road racing guy could do.
Hey, no, we appreciate it, dude. That was you walked it like you talk it, that's for sure. But, man, this thing.
She rips, right?
Those are 275s?
Well, that's for this, but yeah, we
Yeah.
run 350.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still a big tire.
Yeah, 270.
Bigger than most
Yeah,
people's
excuse
tire.
me,
Yeah.
all right? I don't run a 275, all right? So excuse me, but that was a big Johnny back there. This thing looks really good walking it around like that. How'd it feel in there? How'd it feel in there, Clutch
Bro,
Kick?
he can drive. That thing has power. It has torque. Every time he got on, it just.
Jeez, that's pretty wild.
Hey, all right, well, you came, you saw, you conquered. Not only is it beautiful, built like Mona Lisa painting, like it is a masterpiece, but it rips. Hey, thanks for coming. Now all you need to do is wrap it.
Yeah. I need you guys.
Teamwork?
Yeah,
Teamwork?
yeah,
All right.
I need some Super Saiyan shit.
All right, you ready? Let's go! Can you like do the, you know, you got a little wiggle or something?